Sponsored by the Elder Scrolls Online, Morrowind. Return to the iconic island of Vardenfell in the Elder Scrolls Online, Morrowind.
Far Cry 3 is a non-stop rollercoaster of disturbing moments from beginning to end. And with psychos like Vaas, ruthless criminals like Hoyt, and sadists like Buck, it's no surprise that the game contains so many messed up moments. But here are some of the most disturbing.
It's not my birthday. It must be Christmas.
Let's start off with Buck, the hitman who makes Agent 47 look like a pussycat. He is a sadistic, psychopathic pervert whose hobbies include torture, rape and murder, and he's keeping one of your best friends as a sex slave in his basement.
Oh, Jason. Keith is going to be very disappointed. He looked uncomfortable last I saw him.
To free him, Buck forces you to find a priceless ceremonial dagger, but it's only when you eventually retrieve the blade that Buck's most disturbing moment occurs. As you enter his basement, you'll find your friend Keith sitting traumatized on a bed, shaking, terrified of his captor.
Jason, you gotta get me out of here. I'm begging you, please. You gotta get me out of here, man.
As you try to reassure him, however, Buck comes up behind you, and the implications of what he's been doing to Keith become clear.
I am grateful, right? And I'd really like to show my appreciation, you know. Proper, like a man should.
Buck has been repeatedly torturing and raping Keith for days, while he had you running around the island doing his bidding. But now with you also trapped in his basement, Buck intends to add to his collection.
I'll take your bloody if you like. I like my meat rare.
This sadistic monster is the first major villain you'll deal with in the game, and he certainly sets the tone for things to come.
He's some fucked up poor player.
I never should have made that jump alone. I promised Dad I'd take care of you two.
Some of the game's most disturbing moments involve your two brothers. Within 10 minutes of the game starting, your older brother Grant will be shot in the neck. And while this is tragic enough in itself, this isn't just a cutscene you can detach yourself from and sit back and watch. The game will make you try in vain to keep him from bleeding out. However, there is nothing you can do to save Grant's life. And as he takes his last breath, you're forced to run away, leaving his body in the hands of the psychopaths who murdered him.
I said, get the fuck out of here, you chicken fuck! Run, Forrest! Run!
But as shocking as Grant's death can be for the first time, it's nowhere near as disturbing as what happens with your younger brother Riley. While working undercover to rescue him, you're put in a horrific position. Beat and torture your little brother, or risk your identity being discovered. You're doing it to save his life, but that doesn't make it any less traumatic as you repeatedly punch his bloodied face before jamming your thumb into a gaping wound as he screams and collapses. At this point, you've done many terrible things on the island, but now you're forced to ask yourself,
Who have I become?
Way up in the fucking skies, you thought you had your finger on the pussy trigger. But hermano, down here. Down here.
Of course, we can't do a video on disturbing moments in Far Cry 3 without talking about Vaas.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
For years before you arrived on the island, Vaas has been causing atrocities for the native people. Although he was born on the island, he became addicted to drugs and turned his back on the other natives. Now he leads the pirates, who came to Rook Island to rape, pillage, steal and murder its inhabitants. Each of your run-ins with Vaas is disturbing in its own way, from the first moment when he shoots your brother, to trying to burn you alive or drown you. But the most traumatic has to be when he shoots you in the chest. While being shot like this is pretty disturbing, what happens next is even worse. You survive the bullet, but wake up surrounded by bloody corpses. You have to claw your way out of a mass grave, pushing aside the mountain of gore on top of you, desperately trying to reach for the daylight above. And then, once finally clear of the grave, You can see that those in the pit are locals, murdered by Vaas in celebration of your death.
Look, he's come back from the dead! Yeah, join me for a celebratory cohiba. That was quite a show down there.
I don't really smoke.
Oh, you're concerned about cancer. That's good shit. Cancer won't be what kills you.
As completely fucked up as Vaas is, at least he's actually insane. The years of drug abuse have pretty seriously messed him up. Hoyt, on the other hand, has no such excuse.
Boom! The heart of it, Fast, right there. I ensure our slaves come from around the globe. And just like that little contact lens, my product is universal.
He is the source of all evil on the island, a notorious drug kingpin and ruthless human trafficker who leads the privateers. His actions throughout the game are cold and calculated. At one stage you even see him force 3 natives to run through a field of landmines, but that's nothing compared to some of his later actions. Hoyt is someone who likes to make a point, and during a cutscene when you're trying to infiltrate the privateers, he shows the crowd of recruits what will happen to those who break his rules.
Roast you in the furnace till your skin crackles like chicken.
However, the most disturbing moment you have directly with Hoyt comes during a poker game. After your friend Sam loses the first hand of cards, Hoyt stabs him in the neck, instantly killing him, leaving the knife embedded in the man's neck while his bodyguards hold a gun to your head. But instead of just finishing the job and killing you, Hoyt decides to toy with you instead. He begins to deal the cards, but instead of playing for cash, you're now putting your life on the line. Thankfully, you win the next hand, and Hoyt claims to forgive your previous actions. The tyrant begins to deal again, but this time, you're not so lucky. But Hoyt tells you he'll be merciful, and only cut off one of your fingers.
Help us free our captive warriors, and I will give you the power you desire.
Lastly, here's the one you've been waiting for. Possibly the most disturbing moment in the entire game. The end. Citra is the tribal leader of the island, and one of your few allies. Charismatic and beautiful, she yearns to return her tribe to its former glory, and throughout the game, you'll assist her in doing so. But after surviving everything the island could throw at you, killing Buck, Vaas and Hoyt along with countless others, you return victorious, only to realise that Citra has betrayed you. She's captured your girlfriend, younger brother and the rest of your group, before also drugging you. As you stumble through the hallucination, you're taunted by images of your friends, or Citra reassures and supports you. At the end, she will hand you a knife, but as the drugs begin to wear off, you'll find yourself holding the blade to your girlfriend Lisa's throat. Pretty disturbing so far, but now you're offered a choice. Save your friends and leave the island, or join Citra. If you choose the latter option, you will slit Lisa's throat. But it doesn't end there. I'm just gonna let you see what happens next.
It is done. Hold me. You are perfection, the ultimate of your kind, and our child will lead the Rakyat.
Can you think of any other disturbing moments from Far Cry 3 that we missed? Let me know in the comments below, and which of those we covered do you think is the most messed up? As always, this is James for Curse, saying thanks for watching, and enjoy the game.
Return to the iconic island of Vardenfell in the Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind.
Now, it is your time to save Morrowind.